May we continue with what we were talking about yesterday morning. Before we go into that, may I point out that one should have quite a bit of skepticism, doubt, not accepting what the speaker is saying, but questioning, investigating, inquiring into what he is saying or what we are thinking ourselves, if there is any truth, if there is any falsehood, or if what is being said is factual, which is applicable to daily life. So, if one merely accepts words, as most of us do, we are a collector of words and phrases, and thereby we miss a great deal. So what we are talking about is that one should, that self-knowledge, that is knowing oneself, is the greatest importance. Not according to some psychologists, analysts, or according to the speaker, but knowing oneself actually as one is. Not denying nor accepting what is, but observing, looking into oneself very, very deeply, and whether what you find in yourself, not according to somebody else, but actually for yourself, what you see and what you perceive in your actions, in your reactions, and so on, to be aware of that, to know oneself. Knowing oneself implies, doesn't it, not having known and recognizing what is. That is, to discover oneself anew each time, not according to a remembrance of something that you have seen before in yourself and recognize it and keep on recognizing all the time. I hope I am making this clear. That is, I want to know myself. Because if I don't know myself, there is no possibility of right action, right behavior, or I have no foundation for any clarity. One can deceive so immensely, live in a kind of illusory world, a make-believe world, but to know oneself so completely frees the mind from all its entanglements, from all its worries, its everlasting chattering, and so on. In that inquiry, we were saying yesterday, we are driven by language. Language uses us rather than we use language. We went into that very thoroughly yesterday. And also we said that the speaker not being here, you yourself are speaking to yourself and listening to yourself to find out what exactly is going on within yourself, within the skin, within the psychological area of yourself. We know very well what's happening around us, at least if you're fairly well informed. But very few of us know exactly where we are, what our reactions are, and if it is possible to go beyond them. And also we were saying yesterday that the basic root of fear in which most of us live is time. Chronological time, as yesterday, today and tomorrow, and also the whole movement of thought. Those are the two factors which bring about fear. And the other factor in that is remembrance. The remembrance of a past fear and holding on to that remembrance and projecting a future fear. We were talking about that yesterday. So if we may, we'd like to go into further factors of ourselves. Most of us, psychologically, live in disorder. You do not know if you are not aware of it. We are driven by not only language, but also by great many pressures from outside. Economic, social, political, national, the religious beliefs, and so on. But psychologically, the greatest pressure is desire with most of us. As we said yesterday, please, we are communicating with each other. You're not merely listening to the person who is talking, who is not at all important. What is said is important, not the person. It's like if you have a telephone, you don't give great importance to the telephone. You keep it clean. But what is said through the telephone becomes all important. Similarly, the person who is speaking here is not at all important. I would like to point this out over and over again. The person is not important at all. But what is said is important. So your admiration for the person, or your dislike of the person, or your this, that, all that nonsense is very little importance. You don't, if you have good telephone, you don't smash it. You keep it clean. You respect it. But the telephone itself is no value at all. But what is said through the telephone becomes significant. Similarly, here, the person is not important. Having understood that clearly and definitely, we are saying we live in disorder. Psychologically, we may have orderly room, do proper exercises, do so-called yoga. I won't go into that word, what it means, how it began, and all the rest of it.